Okay, let's talk about the first um, field called linear and in its list. If you select a cloner, and this is in the color we colored here, this is under color of all cloner in the transform tab. If you select it, first you have to select the effector, plane effector. In the plane effector, in the parameter, as I said before, we have a 100 centimeter in a y-axis, and it brings all of the cloner at the y-axis. So in a plane effector that it has this parameter, in a field tab, we need a fall off. We need a tool for controlling the parameter. So the first thing that you can select it from here or from the here is the best here. These are all these shapes, box. The settings are exactly the same. The box, capsule, coin, cylinder, and linear, spherical, for example. First, I want to explain the linear. And as you can see, this is a linear fall off. What happened here if you look at it in this angle? Okay, as you can see, if you see the object manager here, this is an cloner that in effector we assign a plane effector here. This is our effector plane, and as you can see, automatically the linear field go the child of the plane. If you select a linear, we have the almost common tab in Cinema 4D basic coordinate. This is a field that you can just select the type of field, their lengths, as you can see. Here you can change the length of the field, and the direction. Here you can change the direction of your field in any direction that you want. Or you can clip to the shape. I explain the clip to the shape. Another tab here is a remapping. Explain it in this lesson. I explain remapping and color remap, and we have a direction that I will be explaining the direction. For example, if you select the target plane, we have a direction. But if you select the field from here, you can these settings. But if you go to the plane and go to the field, we have a list of our effectors. You can add more than one linear, effector, field to this list. Any list that you want. Okay, in this list, we have the linear. If I click on a linear field here, as you can see, the bending, field, remap, and color. These three are the same, but here is a bending, added bending, and we don't have any direction tab. Okay, so it's different. Okay, this is unlinear. As you can see, it's control. If I bring it here, it controls the amount of that parameter that in a y-axis we have 100 centimeter in a y-axis. It control it. As you can see, this is the head of the linear field. It means from this plane to back of that, we have 0% strength of that parameter in a plane or any effector. And within these two planes, we have a fall off that this shape will be defined in remapping. As you can see, this is an remapping that I want to explain now. And after this plane here, we have 100% of that movement to the up. So let's begin from the bending. This is a bending. If you open it, the bending options here is exactly the option are listed here. Okay. You can control two things with the fields. One, the value, this parameter, and the color. Okay. So if you another plane in a field. So if you can turn it off. As you can see, you can turn the value of that linear on or off here, or as you can see, addition to the changing the transform parameter, it's changing the color. You can control the color. This color, it is the color of the color of the effector. Okay. Here, if you go to the color remap, here you can define the color. Okay, you can no remap of the color. It means we have almost all of the color of the cloner, or you can use the color. It means you can create any color that here, as you can see, you can choose any color that you want. It's very easy in the color remap. Or gradient. You can select the gradient here. This part is 0% of that parameter, and here is 100%. And if you select it here, you can change the interpolate. I have to explain these colors and its settings. It's very easy. You can interpolate it smooth. You can make it linear. You can make it a step. As you can see, you can suddenly go to any color that you want or any color you selected. Okay. And you can change the brightness and choose which method for creating here. Or you have the preset. You can use the load the preset here. And that's it. This is color remap. It's very easy. Okay, understand it? Color. So it's blending between the color of the cloner to the color of the you choose here. That's it. And you can turn that color remap on or off here. As you can see, these are filter. And here's the most important thing. You can combine the fields together. Okay. You can add first, let's just continue this blending, and after that. Here you can enable or disable that. And here you can see the visibility or the color. As you can see, these two buttons are exactly here. And layer opacity, it means the power of that. If the layer opacity is 100%, it means it's exactly go to the exact number that you assign here. But if you decrease the extremes, the opacity, you decreasing the power of this field. And here is a layer blending. This is that I explain you now with add. It's very like other blending, like Photoshop. You can subtract maximum or screen or add the layer together. Okay, this is example. The field, you know it, you can change the length of field. If you go to the model mode here with this button, you can change the length of the field. If you want to more fall off, here you can change the length of that field here. The length is 100 centimeter exactly in the parameter that you define. You can change the direction. And the most important thing is remapping. Here, enable, or you can turn it off or on, as you can see. Enable remapping here. This is our this is our, make it bigger. Sorry for that. What happened? Yeah. I think this is a bug. As you can see, they're going offside of that. Okay, unfortunately, I think this is a graphical bug, but it's not important. It's a button here. And if you make it bigger, it does not concern it, unfortunately. Okay. I hope they fix it. Okay, let's try it. Okay, here the first setting of the remapping. Here you can change the power of strength of that. And as you can see, you can change this map. As you can see, it's go exactly with a special ramp to that. You don't need to be confused. Just look at this wave here. You can understand it. It's very easy. It begins from here. You can invert it. Very easy. You have inner offset. Okay, the inner offset is very important here. For better understanding the inner offset, it's better to delete. As you can see, if you go to the plane effector and delete something here, you can now control it. If you go to the plane and delete something from here, it just delete from there, and it does not delete from object manager. If you want delete the both, you can delete layer only or delete completely. Okay, it's very important. Instead of that, I'm using the spherical field, and as you can see, it's better to see it. You can make it bigger, and here is a fall off of that. Okay, you can. It changed the strength of that offset. As you can see, this is an inner offset here. You can understand it. You can you can turn off the value of that. As you can see, we have two circle here, two sphere here. From the center, as you can see, imagine this is the center of your field. From the center to here, this is an inner offset. As you can see, you can make it a bigger or smaller or bigger, exactly. From the center to the exactly the circumference of the surface of this sphere, we have 100% of that parameter that you define it here. Okay, and from the surface of this sphere to the bigger sphere, we have a fall off. As you can see in this color, it's slightly going to desaturate to the end. It's exactly when you turn on the value. As you can see, in an inner circle, if you change it, can you see it? We have 100% of parameter. It's exactly 100 centimeter up, and we are going down to the zero, to the with a fall off to the outer radius here. It's exactly this fall off here. So you can. Another important thing is the minimum and the maximum clamp. Now I want to explain the clamp. For the clamp, here you can bring it there, or you can bring it here and turn it off, and bring a linear again to explain the clamp because it's important. So as you can see, we have minimum clamp. We have two clamp here, the layer clamping and the own clamping of the linear. You can right click and delete it to better. Okay. As you can see, we are minimum 0% and 100% at the maximum. You can double it if you make it 200, as you can see, because it's clamped to exactly, because it's in a max clamp, it does not go upper than 100%. If you untick that, sorry, if make it 100%, as you can see, you can change the maximum of clamp here. Okay. And you can, if you go in a negative number here, because of the clamp of here, we have clamp here. Why don't you see that? As you can see, we have almost a problem here. Why is that? Because another important clamp is turned on. Here is a layer clamping. The layer clamping clamp exactly whole things that come from the layer to the output. It means if you turn it off, now you can see the maximum and the minimum clamp. Okay, first turn it off to don't clamp any output. If you change the clamping and the object the parameter here, anything that's output from here is suddenly clamped again, but layer clamp. It means the clamp whole field here. So first turn it off to see it. Okay, if you make it double, and as you can see, it's go double of 100 centimeter. As you can see, we have 100 centimeter, but here we clamp. Because the clamp maximum is turned on, it clamp somewhere that you assign here. But if you untick that, it's go to infinite. If you make it 100%, it's also go infinite. Just you can change the slope of that. This is maximum clamp. If you turn the minimum clamp off, if you go, for example, 100 negative, as you can see, this is an offset. We have no offset. As you can see, you can go in a exactly this direction. So here you can change the clamp of minimum. As you can see, if you clamp the minimum, we have a clamp here. But if you do, we have a clamp. But if you don't have, you have something like this. Pay attention that this surface is 0 of that. Okay. Go to the plane again. So if you confuse, you can see this wave here and you can understand it. We are exactly at the minimum. You can go, as you can see, this exactly looks like it's clamping here. This way, if you look at this way, we have exactly output there. And this is an actually fall off. As you can see, we have a fall off here. Okay, we bring it back to the 0 and maximum clamp at minimum and maximum. So we clamp it. If you go up, it's finished there. And after that, we can clamp it in the layers. If you clamp it, suddenly turn them off. It's this button makes sure that you are clamping, because if we have our parameter in infinite, we have ugly things. Another option here is a counter. It's like a multiplier, as you can see. Here you can change the counter. If your counter mode is none, you can change the mode of the counter here. As you can see here, you can change the curve. Interesting part. So with a counter, you can change the curve of this. You can go this mode. And here you can define this counter with a step. As you can see, how many steps do you want to define? If you want to step wave, look at this. So you can define the shape of that with the counter. So the most customizable shape that you want to create with a curve, with that curve is a curve. It's exactly, you can define this curve if you hold in control and click. This is a graph editor. I explained it before. Here you can change the curve of this fall off. And the interesting part here is you can have an animation. If you change, for example, every, for example, 50, 40 frame, we have an animation. It's loop. This spline animation speed, this with a frame, it means we have a loop. It's loop every, for example, 40 frame. As you can see, we have this, if you make it to the 0, as you can see, this is our wave. But if you change this frame, you can animate it. It's looping and looping and looping. If you want to better loop, you can define like this, or change the preset to sine, for example. You can doing with interesting animation in follow. And here you can change the offset of that. You can make it a 0 and see it better. As you can see, we have an offset. You can offset that. This is on sine wave. And here you can change the spline range if you want. You can make it a 100. It's actually like a frequency. If you want to more frequency, you can change the spline range, or if you want less. Okay, interesting. This is an counter. You can do it. Okay, that's it. We explain all the remapping object. If you want, you can make it a no. Okay. And you learn the color remap and the remapping and the field. It's very easy and straightforward. So the other things are just the changing the shape. That I will explain it in the next lesson. And I just want to explain this. As you can see, we have a clamp and other comment here, and we will go to explain them. Don't worry. Another clamp of here is, for example, if another linear fall-off. If you add another linear fall-off, as you can see, if you add lots of linear fall-off here, we have lots of field here. So it's exactly in the Photoshop layer. This is execute first, then this, and then that. This is the last layer is the above layer, the last execute command here. So I have the first linear field here that I want to add it to this. I want to add this to the layer below. And as you can see, if I turn the clamp layer off, it goes double, because we add, this is 100% at the y-axis in a parameter, and this is maximum number. This is the maximum number that's defined. And we add another linear field and make a blending mode to the add. So 100%, add to the another 100%, and it's go double. If you turn the layer clamp here, if you turn layer clamp on, it clamps and it does not look at your linear to adding. So be careful about this layer clamping here. So you learn the clamps and the layer clamp. Okay. Hello, my friends. To continue these tutorials on YouTube, subscribe us, like us, and hit the bell icon. And now you will be alerted about all of the amazing videos that we release.